Hey, welcome everybody. Here we are playing Game 2 of the 1973 World Series between the New York Mets and the Oakland A's. On the mound for the A's, the home team at Oakland Alameda County Coliseum is Vida Blue, 20-9 with a 3.28 ERA, 13 complete games and 37 games started. Allowed 26 home runs, and he's facing Jerry Koosman. The battle of the Southpaws. Koosman, 35 starts, had 12 complete games, was 14-15 with a 2.84 ERA. I think the Mets won the division just being 3 games over 500, I believe. It's pretty interesting. And, well, we're also giving away a 1973 season of playoff pitch baseball. So that's another exciting part of this broadcast and this series that we're playing. As you can see, I'm using the old school, scorecard, pencil and paper scorecard, pen and paper scorecard. Now we're joining the action in the top of the 6th. And it's going to be Vida Blue facing Felix Millan. The score is 0-0. Both teams have a couple of times had a couple of players on base. Actually, the A's never had 2 players on base. They had one in the first, one in the second, none in the third, one in the fourth, and one in the fifth. They've managed 3 hits so far in the game. And then there was, of course, an error by Wayne Garrett, his second error of the series. Now the Mets are down 1-0. They lost the first game by a score of 10-6. Now for the Mets, they had a runner on. They actually had a couple of runners on in the 3rd inning, in the top of the 3rd, and then they had 2 more in the top of the 5th. 2 walks in the 3rd, 2 hits in the 5th, and that's where we stand. Felix Millan, who's 0 for 2 today, he grounded out and flied out, and he's batting. We're using fast action cards. And we're going to actually shuffle these when we get to the 7th inning. After the 6th inning, we're going to shovel them. All right, here's the pitch from Blue. It's ballpark against Millan, and it's a 48. It's 1-50. Ballpark card is 1-50 at Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. So that falls within that range. 48 is within that range. So that's going to put us on the wheelhouse versus a left-handed pitcher. 1-5 is a home run, and we pull a 61. And that 61 is going to be lined and caught by the second baseman, L4. 1 out. Rusty Staub is starting this game. Now, he didn't play in the first game. He pinch hit in the first game, but he hurt himself in the previous series against the Reds, I believe. He hurt his shoulder, went out to catch a ball out by the track and crashed into the wall and hurt his shoulder. So, he sat out the first game, but he's in the lineup batting 3rd in Game 2. We're using actual lineups, actual historical lineups. All right, here's the pitch from Blue to the lefty, Rusty Staub. And that's a patient 24, and that's going to be a base on balls. That is the 3rd walk allowed by Blue today. So Rusty Staub is on at first. Not really a very good base runner. And it's Cleon Jones. Cleon Jones batted .273 with 4 home runs versus lefties. It's 5. That's tough. A tough 18. That's going to be a strikeout. Out number 2. And it's John Milner. John Milner had 23 home runs. He was the power hitter for the 1973 club. Here's the pitch. It's 5, tough, a tough 50, and that's going to be a line drive into right field. And Staub is going to stop at second, first and second now. This is the second time in the game that the Mets have 2 runners on with 2 outs, and it's Jerry Grody. Jerry Grody versus lefties batted .230 and hit no home runs. It's going to be a 6. That's going to be a tough out. 29. 29 is a pop-up to the right side. Right there is the second baseman. Green makes the catch, and that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 6th. No score. No score. Game 2. The A's lead the series 1-0. Now for the question. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a trivia question. You're going to answer it. You're going to send it to combatpainter@yahoo.com. And I'm going to put you in the drawing for the 1973 payoff pitch baseball season. Very exciting. All right, bottom of the 6th. That's going to be Campy Campaneris versus Jerry Koosman. Put a card. It's a tough pitch. See what Campy can do with it. Nothing, strikes out. That's strikeout number 3 for Koosman. Joe Rudy's 1 for 2. He reached twice. Once on an error by the third baseman Garrett, and then a single in the 4th. That's 3. That's defense. A defensive 12. And that's going to be a error third base again. What kind of an error on Garrett? A 1-base error. He boots another one. Wow, Garrett is having some tough luck. Patient. Bando shows his patience at the plate, and that's going to be ball 4. 1 out, runners on first and second, bottom of the 6th, no score. Game 2 of 1973 World Series. I will be asking the question pretty soon. Now it's Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson, I think he was wearing number 9 for some reason. I don't know. I know when he went to the Yankees, he became 44. I believe he was wearing number 9 in Oakland, but double check that. All right, here's the pitch from Koosman. 4, ballpark. That's trouble. We don't want that with Jackson, because Jackson, he led the league in home runs. 87. Woo, we lucked out. That's going to put it into his infield in play area. So 1-28 is a single, and we roll a 14. And let's see what happens here. It tells us line drive into left, runner on first advances 2 bases, runner on second scores. So Reginald Martinez Jackson drives in the first run of the game. Bando goes to third. We have first and third now for Gene Tennis. Now what we're going to do is play the corners in and the middle infielders halfway for the double play. Here's the pitch. It's a 5. Patient. A patient 72. 72 is a base on balls. Wow. Bases are loaded. Now we're going to bring the infield in. Jesus Alou. 5. Patient again. Patient 99. It's a fly ball. Now this can score a run. At third base is Bando. Let's look at his speed, because this is a fly ball to left field. Left fielder's arm rating is an 8, and Bando runs at a 7. So 7 or less he scores. And we're going to try to do that. Let's see what happens here. We're going to pull a card 7 or less. We roll a 7, and he is safe. Sacrifice fly. RBI for Jesus Alou. That puts the A's up by a score of 2-0 here in the bottom of the 6th. Runners on first and second, 2 out now. And it's Ray Fosse. 12, Patient 89. And that's going to be a ground ball, shortstop. Harrelson over to Milner, and that retires the side. But the A's pick up 2 big runs in the bottom of the 6th. They lead it by a score of 2-0. It's time to shuffle. Now, I'd like to tell stories about my days in the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where I was a croupier. I was the fastest croupier in the East. All right. Terrible job here. Let's see one more time. All right. Well, we're in the top of the 7th inning, and it's going to be Hahn, Harrelson, and Koosman. The A's lead it by 2-0, and they lead the series 1-0. We're in Game 2 of the 1973 World Series. We're going to pull a 6 here. It's going to be Vita Blues on the mound. Vita Blue on the mound for the A's. Pitching a 1, 2, 3. 3 hitters so far. All right, we pull a 6. That's going to be a tough out 40. Tough out 40 is a pop-up. And that's Campaneris calling for it. 1 away. Buddy Harrelson, who's 1 for 1, a walk and a single. He's showing his patience at the plate. And he drives one into the gap. And Harrelson hustles around first into second base, and he's in there with a double. Throw not nearly in time. So now the Mets are going to bring up a pinch hitter, looks like. It looks like they're going to bring up Willie Mays. Nope. Let's see who else they got here. We got George Theodore. Going to bring up George Theodore. George Theodore is going to pinch hit. Now, in reality, he pinch hit as well for Koosman. So Koosman is out. And I'll tell you right now who we're bringing in. We're going to bring in lefty Sadecki. Ray Sadecki's going to come in there. 31 games last time. And Koosman went 6. Allowed 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hits. 2 runs. Only 1 earned run. He walked how many? Walked 1, 2. Walked 2, struck out 3. No home runs. All right, so George Theodore is going to pinch hit for, he's a righty hitting against the lefty. Now, against lefties, he batted .311 with 1 home run and 61 at-bats. Great thing about Payoff Pitch is that you get lots of extra additional fringe-type players that you wouldn't get in any other set. So you can actually play actual lineups and not run into problems. All right, so 95% of the time you're going to have enough cards to play the actual lineup. Now, of course, if you start with more modern teams, you know, you're going to have to, and you can buy the fringe sets, and they're at good price. It's a great value. And it's going to be Vita Blue is going to pitch to George Theodore. 1 out. Harrelson is on at second. We're in the top of the 7th. The A's lead it by a score of 2-0. Here's the pitch from Blue. And that's patient. George Theodore shows his patience, 22. And that's going to be lined base hit into center field. And that's going to score Harrelson. 2-1 now. So George Theodore gets a pinch hit single to drive in Harrelson and scores 2-1 A's. Theodore with good running ability. He's an 8. He won't be stealing, though. And it's going to be Wayne Garrett. Here's the pitch to Garrett. That's 7 in play. An in play 13. And that's going to be a long single into the gap in center field, cut off by the center fielder Jackson. Hustling over to third is Theodore. So first and third now. With only one out, the Mets have the tying run at third base. And it's going to be Felix Millan, who's a contact hitter. The A's are going to bring the infield in. They want to prevent a tie. So they're going to bring in the infield in here. And I'm looking for my charts. There they are. I have one chart there that says bases not loaded. Now I need my other chart that says bases loaded. I have two little mini charts that I carry around with me. That's one. Now I need my other one and I don't see it anywhere. Great. That's not a good sign. I don't see that. Alright, I have an idea where it is though. Let's see. I have an idea where it could be. Not there. Aha, found it. This is my other chart, bases loaded, in case we need it. Infield in with the bases loaded. Alright. Now I'm trying to push for Joe to make a little booklet, not unlike the HMB, History Maker Baseball booklet, really nice, spiral bound. Not a lot of pages because he doesn't have a lot of charts. You know, this is very, I mean, everything plays off the cards. It's amazing. And then with the fast action cards, you barely need anything other than that. I mean, this, I think, is a great way to go, for sure. All right, so you got first and third, infield in for the A's. Felix Millan is going to stay in, I think. You know what? We're bringing in Raleigh Fingers. This is critical here. This is a critical situation. So we are bringing in Mr. Handlebar Mustache Extraordinaire. And he's going to be green. Raleigh Fingers is coming in for Vita Blue to face the righty. Blue went 6 1/3, 6.1, and gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. Gave up 6 hits, 1 run so far. He walked 1, 2, 3, 3, and he struck out 2, 3, 4. All right, Raleigh Fingers, Felix Millan, infield in, tying run at third base. We're in the top of the 7th. The A's lead at 2-1. Felix Millan versus righties bat at 281 in 452 at bats. That's in play 65. In play 65. That's a fly ball center field. And that's going to be shallow center. Now, if I want, I can pull a card and see if it's a deep fly or a shallow fly. For the heck of it, it's a deep fly, so we will potentially try to score this run. Who's in center? Reggie Jackson. Let's look at Reggie Jackson's arm. We didn't even write a lot of that down. Reggie Jackson from center field has an 8 arm. Theodore is an 8 runner. So anything 8 or less on the flip is going to be a tying run coming in on a sacrifice fly. Otherwise, he's thrown out at the plate. Let's see what happens. 7, he is safe. Throw not in time, and the Mets have tied up the ball game. George Theodore. So it's a sacrifice fly now, and an RBI, and it's Rusty Staub. Here's the pitch from Fingers. Garrett is on first base. That's Patient. Patient 67. Where's Staub there? Patient 67. And that's going to be a fly ball. Center field. Jackson waits for it. Makes the catch, and that retires the side. But the Mets tie it up. The Mets tie it up. Koosman is out. Ray Sadecki is in. And it's going to be green, blue, well, fingers. Green fingers. You know what? I'm going to do that double switch. Put fingers in there. And Mangual in the 9th spot playing right field. Angel Mangual, who was the starting center fielder for the A's in 1972 and lost his spot to Bill North. Angel Mangual is going to be batting in the pitcher's spot. And the pitcher is going to be in Jesus Alu's spot. We're going to put that card in there. All right. We're in the bottom of the 7th now. Green, Mangual, and Campaneris versus Sadecki. Here's the pitch. 10 in play. 50 in play. Sadecki's also lefty. In play 50. And that's a ground ball, third base. Garrett fires to first, and they get green. Mangual now. Oh, wait a second. Let's turn all that over because otherwise we get mixed up. Okay, let's turn all that over. There we go. All right. That's a 6. Tough. A tough 29. Tough 29 is a strikeout. So Mangual strikes out. And it's Bert Campaneris. Campaneris is 0 for 3, flight out and struck out. That's 8. Tough 37. A tough 37 is ground ball up the middle and through for a single. And Bert Campaneris is not the guy you want to have on base. 5B. Anything less than a 5 he goes. He does not. George Rudy now. Joe Rudy, excuse me. Stone, Ted McGraw. We got a lot of lefties. Let's have a lot of lefties. Boswell. Figosi, Dyer. Wow. Got a lot of almost everybody's a lefty here. Ted McGraw. Kenny Holtzman should be with the A's. Matlack, Capra, Andrews. Let me take a quick peek. Sadecki, Parker. I don't see Parker. Maybe I put him in with the A's. Man, there he is, Harry Parker. He's a New York Met. So Harry Parker, we're gonna let we're gonna let Sadecki pitch to the righty Joe Rudy. Here's the pitch. It's a 6. That's a tough pitch. 80. And it's going to be a ground ball. Shortstop. Harrelson. Over to Mian. And that's the force. And that ends the inning. So after 7 innings of play, it's 2-2. We go to the top of the 8th. It's going to be Cleon Jones leading it off against Raleigh Fingers. Here's the pitch from Fingers. That's tough. A tough 0-3. That's going to be a strikeout. Jones strikes out. 1 away. John Milner. Tough pitch. 16. That's a strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts. And Jerry Grody. Jerry Grody's 0 for 3 on the day. Popped up, grounded out, and flied out. That's tough pitch from Fingers. Tough 58. It's a ground ball, second base. Green up with it, over to Tennis, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. That was a quick inning. Wow. Nice to have those every so often. All right, Ray Sadecki against Sal Bando. You know what? And Ray Sadecki's up. Now Sadecki, yeah, he's going to go another inning. Let's see. You can squeeze another inning out of him. 6. Tough. a tough 23 against the lefties, a strikeout. Bando goes down swinging. The Heat gets Bando. Reggie Jackson, 9. A patient 65. And that's a ground ball to Harrelson. Harrelson throws on the run and gets Jackson by half a step. He can motor down that line, that Reggie Jackson. How old is he in 1973? 27 years old, in his prime. My goodness, Gene Tennis. Power hitting Gene Tennis hit 24 home runs in 1972. Versus lefties, he had 8 and 150 at-bats. That's the equivalent of 32 in a full season. So he's got some power against left-handers. Here's the pitch. Tough. A tough 10. That's a strikeout. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the top of the ninth. 2-2. Game 2. 1973 World Series replay. The question you've all been waiting for. How many strikeouts did Felix Millan have in 1973? How many strikeouts? How many times did Felix Millan strike out in 1973? If you watch the video of this game, and you can find it on YouTube, Game 2 or Game 1, you can just watch him batting. He chokes up 50% of the way, which is very, very unusual. I mean, I'm telling you, there's half the bat is under his hand and the other half is above his hand. I'm not exaggerating. All right, I had to have a drink of water. Okay, we're in the top of the ninth. Raleigh Fingers against Don Hahn. Here's the pitch. It's a tough pitch from Fingers. See if Hahn can do something with that. And he does. He lines it to left field, and Rudy plays it on a hop. That's a single for Hahn. That's Hahn's second single a day. He's 2 for 4 now. Bud Harrelson is going to bunt. He's a D-bunter. Why, I don't know. But a D-bunter bunts it to third base. And that's going to be 5-4 sacrifice. So Hahn is at second base now. George Theodore batted. We have a righty on the mound. And we're going to bring out the Mr. Bronx, Ed Kranepool, Mr. Met. He's going to pinch hit versus righties batted .238. And you know what? He's gone 1, 2. He's gone 2 innings. Fingers has gone 2 innings so far. And we're going to bring in Darryl Knowles. We're going to bring in the lefty Darryl Knowles to face the lefty hitting Koosman, unless and that's what we do. So Knowles is coming in. Knowles is going to be blue. Darryl Knowles. Fingers went 2 innings. Actually, he went 2 innings. He gave up 1 hit. No runs. He walked none. Struck out 2. Gave up no home runs. Darryl Knowles for Raleigh Fingers. And we're going to protect Darryl Knowles as well. We're going to use one of these sleeves. Ultra Pro. These are the ones you use for the regular baseball cards. Darryl Knowles is somebody who's going to pitch in a bunch of games, so I'm going to protect him. And I kind of do it as I go. All right, so where are we? Ed Kranepool versus Darryl Knowles. And you know what? We are going to let Kranepool bat, or are we going to bring in Beaucamp? Beaucamp is a righty. Mets need to win this game. Oh, there he is, Jim Beauchamp. So Dick Williams waited for Kranepool to be officially in the game, and then he pulled Kranepool and brings in Jim Beauchamp, the righty. So it's Kranepool, but then he does not bat, and then it's Beauchamp that will pinch hit. Oh, and that's there already. Okay, good. So Beauchamp's coming in there with the tying run at second base. Now, we're going to bring in Willie Mays to run for Hahn, because Hahn is not Willie Mays, I'll tell you that right now. Even though Willie Mays is 42 years old, he can still run. So Mays is going to be a pinch runner, and then he's going to be 8. Making a lot of changes here. This slows down the game, but you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. All right, Hahn is, I don't know what happened to Hahn. I think he's out of there. Okay. Oh, no, he's here. There you go. Hahn is out. That was Bud Harrelson. Hahn is out. And it's going to be Willie Mays in the place of Hahn. Jim Beauchamp is the batter. And we're definitely not going to walk Beauchamp, because we don't want to put the... Well, actually, you know what? The go-ahead run is already at second base. So what different? Yeah, we're gonna walk Beauchamp, who versus lefties bat at 267. So we're gonna walk Beauchamp, intentional walk, and that's first and second now. That's gonna be Wayne Garrett versus the lefty Knowles. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be a tough pitch. A tough 74. That's a fly ball center field. Let me see what kind of fly it is. It's going to be a short fly. That's out number 2. And now it's Darryl Knowles is going to face Felix Mian, who hit that sacrifice fly deep to center field in the top of the 7th inning to tie the game. Here's the pitch from Knowles to Felix Mian. Felix Mian, 312 versus lefties. That's patient. A patient 34. A patient 34 is going to be a long single into the gap in center field. Run around second, comes around first, and Beauchamp, he scores. Mets take a 3-2 lead. Beauchamp is going to hustle over to third. So it's a huge clutch RBI single by Felix Mian, right-handed hitting second baseman, who chokes up on the bat like nobody I've ever seen. Comes through big time with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. And now it's Rusty Staub. Here's the pitch from Darryl Knowles. It's 3-2 Mets. The amazing Mets in play. In play 44 versus a lefty. It's going to be an out. That's a ground ball. Hit hard, but right at Bando. And Bando fires to first. And that ends the inning. But not before the Mets and Felix Mian come through big time. They take a 3-2 lead. And now we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. It's going to be a pinch hitter for Knowles, rather. Did not double switch at this point. It's going to be a pinch hitter for Knowles, Fossey, and Green. So we are going to bring in, who pinch hit? Kubiak, Andrews, Canigliaro. Let's bring in Canigliaro. That sounds... Well, first of all, let's get a pitcher for the Mets. Let's find out who the pitcher is. And that's going to be, you got to believe, Tug McGraw. Tug McGraw is coming in. Fan favorite at Shea. Not so much here in Oakland. Tug McGraw There he is. So he's going to come in. Got to tidy this all up. I like to turn everything over so it doesn't distract me. Tug McGraw is going to face pinch hitter. He's a lefty, so they're going to bring up a righty. And it's going to be, let's see. I think we're going to bring Billy Conigliaro. Billy Conigliaro is going to pinch hit for Darryl Knowles. So we'll make that Conigliaro. Bottom ninth for Knowles. All right, Billy Conigliaro is going to lead it off against Tug McGraw. Here's the pitch from the lefty throwing Tug McGraw, who's 5-6 with a 3.87 ERA. That's a 6. Tough pitch. Tough 0-7. That's a strikeout. Conigliaro down swinging. Next is Ray Fosse. Fosse is 0 for 3, 2 groundouts and a fly ball. That's patient. A patient 22, and that's line base hit to left. In on a hop, playing it in quickly is Jones, Cleon Jones. But Ray Fosse is on at first, and we're gonna get a pinch runner. Excuse me. We get a pinch runner. Let's see who's a pinch runner here. Dalio, he can run, but no. Ted Kubiak is not a runner. Billy North is not available. Let's see who we have here. I can run. Darren Johnson pinch hit already. No, he didn't pinch hit. I thought he did pinch hit, but he didn't. All right. Vic Davalillo, he's a 6. He could run. I don't know about any of these other guys. Don't know what they do. Oh, Rich McKinney. Let me check the actual games here. I have them up on my okay, let me look into game 3. I need a game with a lot of, okay, this was a game with a lot of players. Let's try game 3. It went 11 innings, 3-2. This is not unlike game 3. And let's see if the A's used any pinch runners. They did. Alan Lewis, and I don't think I have Alan Lewis. Who else did they use for pinch runner? That's all they used. I don't think I have Alan Lewis. And they used him as a pinch runner, but I have a way of doing that, and I'm going to make him up on the spot because he's only going to pinch run, and I'm going to say that he's an 8 pinch runner. He's an 8 run. Okay, because I think that's the guy that they usually. Let me look quickly at his stats. Alan Lewis, because the A's were known for using these guys just to run. Yep. He's 6 feet, 170 pounds. He's from Panama. And I'll tell you what he did in 73. In 73, he scored 16 runs, 35 games. He had 7 stolen bases and 4 caught stealing. This guy is he's a pinch runner. So he's going to run. He's going to run for Fosse. Alan Lewis. This is Carl Lewis's brother. Pinch runner. And for Fosse. I put him in the wrong place. There, pinch runner. Okay. And it's going to be Green, Dick Green, the batter. So Fosse's out. Imaginary Lewis is in. And it's Dick Green at the plate. Here's the pitch from McGraw. That's a patient 0-3. Patient 0-3 is a base on balls, so green walks. First and second now for Angel Mangual. Mangual batted .259 versus lefties. Here's the pitch from McGraw. Remember, it's 3-2, bottom of the ninth. There's one out. Mets are behind in the series, 1-0. Here's the pitch from McGraw. That's a tough pitch. See what McGraw can do with it. Tough pitch. That's an 83. An 83 is a ground ball to Harrelson. This may be a double play. It's a 9 on McGraw and a 5 on Mangual, and we rolled an 8, so it's going to be a fielder's choice. The throw to first, not in time. And it's a fielder's choice. Runners on first and third. The tying run is 90 feet away. And it's Bert Campaneris at the plate. Bert Campaneris facing Tug McGraw. There's two outs. Alan Lewis at third base, the speedster. Mangual at first. And here's the pitch to Bert Campaneris. Patient 92, and that's going to be lifted to left field, shallow left, running in. Is it going to drop or will he catch it? Nope, he's there, makes the catch. Cleon Jones, and that's the ball game. The Mets come back after being down 2-0 in the seventh inning to score 2 in the top of the seventh and then 1 in the top of the ninth, and the Miracle Mets really live up to their name. The Miracle Mets. Now again, the question, guys, great game, 3-2. Mets pull it out. I'm happy because I'm a Mets fan. The question was, how many times did Felix Millan strike out in 1973? It's amazing, by the way. Amazing to me, at least. And you send that to combatpainter@yahoo.com, and eventually there'll be a drawing. Your name will be in it, and I'm going to do that all. I'm going to film the whole thing, and we did one of these with a Strat 1991 season a couple of weeks back. We're doing one this week with Payoff pitch, and this is the final score. Mets, big huge win. Tug McGraw, big inning, goes one inning, allows a hit and a walk, no runs, no earned runs, strikes out 1, no home runs, gets a big save, and Sadecki is going to get the win, I believe. Sadecki gets the win. Kuzman gets a no decision. Sadecki went 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, and struck out 3. 2 innings, 1 hit, struck out 3. And the loss here is going to go to Raleigh Fingers. Gets the loss. Darryl Knowles came in and pitched a 2-batter. Actually got 2 outs, walked 1 and gave up a hit, a walk, no runs. Any strikeouts? No strikeouts. 2. And that's all she wrote. So final score, let's get that in there. Hits given up, 8 hits. Mets had 8 hits. The A's had 6 hits. So 8 hits for the Mets, 6 hits. 2 errors on the Mets, and again it was 2 errors on Wayne Garrett. He had 1 in game 1. So the Mets had 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors. The A's had 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors, and that's the ball game. Series is tied at 1 apiece, and we played 2 in Oakland. I believe we go to New York for 3, and then we come back for Oakland for 2. If it goes that long, we'll see how long. Well, we got to come back. At this point, it's 1-1. So the Mets could win 3 in a row, and that'll be over. So we'll see if we come back to Oakland. But that's the ball game. This is CP Cards and Dice signing off. You got the info. You got the question. We're giving away the 1973 Payoff Pitch season. Amazing cards, amazing quality, best in the business. Fun game, chartless game, pretty much 90% chartless. As you saw, I ran everything from the fast action cards, and I kind of shuffled them every 3 innings. And it's a fun way to do it. You can roll dice as well if you choose to do that. And I'm using the actual scorecard. You can see there's a lot of space to make notes and to make little. There was a rare play, interesting rare play. Jones ran into a batted ball in the top of the second. That was cool. I thought that was kind of realistic. That happens every blue moon. And that's the ball game. So this is CP Cards and Dice saying adios, amigos.